I've spoken recently about the new mining ships added in the Catalyst expansion and whether or not they're worth buying, but as well as the addition of new mining ships, Catalyst also made a significant change to the mining meta regardless of what ship you fly. For anyone not intricately familiar with EVE's mining mechanics, or who unlike me doesn't have to read at least one piece of Alliance crab drama a week, it basically goes like this for exhumers and barges. Whenever you mine, two things happen. A certain volume of that asteroid goes into your mining hold, and a percentage of that amount is removed from the rock without ever being harvested. For example, if your mining amount were 1000 M3 per cycle, and your residue probability was 30%, then on average 300 M3 per cycle is being removed from the rock without ever being given to you. The name is what throws people off, as residue isn't a particularly good description. Instead, a lot of people call it waste, since that's what it really is. It's ore that nobody will get to mine and is permanently destroyed, and as such there's a balance to be struck on how much residue is acceptable when mining. If you or your corporation or alliance are regularly harvesting all the available mining belts or anomalies in your area and find yourself twiddling your thumbs waiting for more anomalies to spawn, then you should probably seek to reduce residue as much as possible, so that the least amount of ore is wasted. If, however, you are in a constant race against time to mine it all, say for example you're day tripping into a busy part of low-sec, then you don't really care about residue, only getting the highest amount of ore in your hold for the time that you spend mining. The Catalyst expansion added the mining laser efficiency charge. This fits in the mining form and burst module as a charge, just like the optimization, field enhancement, and equipment preservation charges. It has the effect of both increasing the chance of mining crits, another new mechanic from the expansion, as well as decreasing residue probability. To demonstrate how cataclysmic of a change this is, let's take a look at the numbers without the new mining laser efficiency charge, so that we can get a baseline for these changes. We'll presume that the ship mining is a hulk, and that it's being boosted by a raw qual for a sort of best case scenario. T1 strip miners, the first type of strip miner you unlock, create no residue at all, but also have the lowest yield. They're cheap and fairly fast to train into, so it does mean that everyone in the game has a way of mining with zero residue. Once you unlock the modulated Tier 2 strip miner though, things become a bit more complicated. There are three types of mining crystal you can use with a Tier 2 modulated strip miner: A, B, and C type. A's give a medium yield and a medium residue, B's give a high yield and a high residue, and C's, well, they give a ridiculously high residue. Their only purpose is some sort of imagined mining PvP or clearing trash ore from anomalies as fast as possible so that the anomaly can respawn, so we're just going to ignore C-types from now on. So here's A1 and A2 crystals. The increased training required for the T2 crystals gives an increase in mining yield, but also a slight increase in residue. Then here's B1 and B2 crystals. As you can see, those are significantly higher mining amounts than their A-type counterparts, but that comes with a very high residue percentage too. Finally, there's the ore strip miner, a considerably, and I really mean considerably, more expensive faction strip miner option. It has zero residue, much like the T1 strip miner, but a mining yield that can actually compete with the T2 modulated strip miner. Even if you don't mine regularly, I'm sure you can see from these numbers how my earlier proposition fits in. If you don't care about residue, it's not your space, etc., you'd be inclined to go for the B2 crystal here. The more difficult comparison comes when it is your space, as different groups land on a different answer here. Some alliances even institute a policy of zero waste, requiring either T1 or ore strip miners. The gap in mining yield of these modules, as well as the price of each strip miner, can make mining a bit of a rich man's game in these alliances. If you're not willing to shell out the exorbitant price of the ore strip miners and subsequently put them at risk in space, you'll be stuck with the considerably lower mining yield of the T1. As a result, quite a few alliances let you use A-type crystals. It ends up being a good middle ground. Sure, these require training resource processing skills that would be otherwise unnecessary, but that's more of a function of time than money. Now let's take a look at these numbers with the new mining laser efficiency charge active. It's a stark difference. Suddenly, Tier 2 B-type crystals, despite their enormous yield, have even less residue than the Tier 1 A-type crystal prior to the boosts. So in theory, any alliance that was willing to stomach the use of A-type crystals prior to the Catalyst expansion should be willing to accept the use of B-type crystals with the mining laser efficiency charge. It'll be very interesting to see if this has a knock-on effect on the supply and therefore price of ores across all area of space. This, along with Kernite and Omber coming to high-sec, is undoubtedly going to shake up the profitability of low-sec and null-sec mining. Without any changes to stabilize these prices, we are likely to see a wider scale deflation of ISK. The necessary stabilization, though, could easily come from miners dropping out of the activity as ore prices fall, favouring other moneymakers instead, and showing us the true price floor of some of these materials. Is your alliance changing its attitude to residue as a result of these changes? Are you a miner that's seen an impact from the new mining laser efficiency charge already? Let me know in the comments. It's way too early to conclusively say one thing or another, and with the exogenous factors of Horde's collapse and other conflicts in nullsec and lowsec, it can be hard to isolate the specific reason for any price changes, so this is definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on as it progresses. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. If you want to help support the channel, consider buying your next EVE Online pack, subscription, or Plex from marqueedragon.com using the link in the video description. Use coupon code BILL at checkout for 3% off your order. I've also got YouTube membership enabled now. I've only recently become eligible for it, but the plan is to include some member-only videos and probably a Discord server or something like that. The only perk for subscribing right now is a badge on YouTube, but it's 99 cents if you'd prefer that way of supporting the channel.